All right, welcome everybody. I invite you to get comfortable and to soften and close your eyes, and we'll do a meditation for about 10 or 15 minutes. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. In, out. Breathing in, my breath grows deep. Breathing out, my breath grows slow, deep, slow. Breathing in, I am aware of my body. Breathing out, I calm my body. Aware of body, calming. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Smile, release. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, I enjoy the present moment. Present moment, enjoy. So I invite everyone to slowly open your eyes. So once again, welcome everyone. My name is Adam Rominger. As I sat here, I was listening to the sounds around me. It has started raining outside. And there is also a mouse that lives in my wall that I was listening to slowly make its noises. I would love to invite it to find a different home, but where it currently lives, it appears to really like. So we've learned to cohabitate, except at 3 o'clock in the morning when it's making noises, and then I have to find my breath and say, can you please rest with me now? So I'm going to read a passage from The Other Shore. So one day the Buddha, or a section I should say, one day the Buddha was in his cave, and Ananda, who was Buddha's attendant, was standing outside near the door. Suddenly Ananda saw Mara coming. He was surprised. He didn't want that. He wished Mara wouldn't notice him and would go away. But Mara walked straight up to Ananda and asked him to announce his arrival to Buddha. Ananda said, "Why have you come here? Don't you remember that long ago you were defeated by the Buddha under the Bodhi tree? Aren't you ashamed to come here? Go away. The Buddha will not see you. You are evil. You are his enemy." When Mara heard this, he began to laugh and laugh. "Do you say your teacher has enemies?" That made Ananda very embarrassed. He knew that his teacher had not said that he had enemies. So Ananda was defeated, and he had to go and announce Mara, hoping that the Buddha would say, "Go and tell him that I'm not here. Tell him that I'm in a meeting." But the Buddha was very happy when he heard that Mara, such a very old friend, had come to visit him. "It's Mara? Let him come in," said the Buddha. Ananda was distressed. When Mara came in, the Buddha stood up to greet him as if he was a special guest, invited him to sit in a place of honor, and took his hands in his in the warmest way. The Buddha said, "Hello, Mara. How are you? How have you been? Is everything all right?" The Buddha asked Ananda to go and make herbal tea for both of them. "I'm happy to make tea for my master 100 times a day, but to make even 1 cup of tea for Mara is miserable," Ananda thought. But since this was an order of his master, how could he refuse? So Ananda went to prepare some herbal tea for Buddha and his so-called guest. But while doing this, he tried to listen in on their conversation. The Buddha repeated very warmly, "How have you been? How are things with you?" Mara said, "Things are not going well at all. I'm tired of being Mara. I want to be something else. Maybe someone like you. Wherever you go, you are welcome. People bow before you and make offerings." Hearing this, Ananda became very frightened. Mara said, "You know, being Mara is not a very easy thing to do. If you talk, you have to talk in riddles. If you do anything, you have to be tricky and look evil. I'm very tired of all that. Well, what can I do? I cannot bear it. It's my disciples that are the most troubling. They are now talking about social justice, peace, equality, liberation, non-duality, non-violence, all of that. Before they used to listen to everything I said. Now they're in revolt. The commanders of my army are demanding to do sitting meditation. Can you believe it? They want to practice mindfulness, do walking meditation, eat in silence, protect life, protect the environment, the earth. They are driving me mad. I do not know who is influencing them. I have had enough of it. I think that it would be better if I hand them all over to you. I want to be something else. Maybe we could change roles." At this, Ananda began to shudder with fear. Mara would become Buddha, and the Buddha would become Marta. It made him very sad. The Buddha listened attentively and was filled with compassion. Finally, he said in a quiet voice, "Do you think it's fun being Buddha? You don't know that what my disciples have done to me. They put words in my mouth that I have never said. They build garnished temples and put statues of me on altars in order to attract bananas and oranges and sweet rice just for themselves. And they package me and make my teachings into an item of commerce. Mara, if you knew what it was really like to be a Buddha, I'm sure wouldn't want to be one." So this is a passage from The Other Shore by Thich Nhat Hanh, which I have found this book to be very mind-poking. That's the best word I can describe. It's a book about duality and opposites. The story I just read illustrates about how good or bad, or what is evil and what is good, can get blurred, and that things are not always what they seem. My dear mentor Jaina would talk about the futility of making enemy images of others. When we do that, where does it really get us? In the environmental movement, it certainly feels like it's us against them. They are wrong for what they're doing to Mother Earth, and they should know better. And we have to fight them. And I don't think there is a person on Earth, whether they know it or not, who doesn't get pleasure from watching a sunset or a sunrise or being in nature. But I believe some people lose their connection to the earth, and by losing their perspective of their connection, partly because of greed for consuming, to have more, and in this case, money. So by exploiting the resources, they get richer. The oil executive and the sitting president of the United States are two people I could easily make enemy images of if I let myself. They are examples of people who I feel do not care about our Mother Earth. But I have to remember they are human beings, and as a human beings, they want to feel that they matter and that they're loved, and that they are of the mother as much as I am, as we all are. They have just lost their connection. But I know by sending hate and venom towards people like the oil executive and the sitting president of the United States, I only make the problem worse, because I am fueling that energy of us versus them. And at the end of the day, the change we want in the world must start here, simply by choices we make and how we react to situations. I know it's the simple things that I do every day by the choices I make of what I eat and what I consume. Whenever I go to restaurants, I always ask for them not to bring me a straw, because I know those frequently end up in the oceans and in the bellies of our sea life. And by simply asking for it not to have a straw, I can start a conversation with someone about how those simple changes can help change our world. By no means am I saying we don't have to fight for the planet, but I strongly believe the fight begins in our own hearts and our own reactions to the current situations we're in. So a little more from The Other Shore. Letting go our notions about increase and decrease can help us think about caring for the environment. We have polluted our water, earth, and air. We have destroyed forests and wildernesses. The oceans are rising, and thousands of species are becoming extinct. This gives rise to anxiety and despair. We are concerned that the toxic elements are increasing and the healthy elements are decreasing. That is our mind of discrimination. the earth will recover, heal, and reestablish balance. For Mother Earth, there is no increase nor decrease. She sees time as a space at different scale and from a less human-centered perspective. And as I sit here with you all now, I'm sitting in a chair that is 90 years old or so. And I think about how it has certainly been around longer than I have, and yet it's still here despite all that has happened to it. So I thank you all for listening to me. I will invite the sound of a bell. And I will hand it over to Kenley.